So kind of the way that we view it is if you can have the answer to these four questions, origin, identity, purpose, and destiny, then you're really going to be able to live a really fulfilling life. And so origin, where did you come from? Came from the heart of the good, kind, loving Heavenly Father, a conversation amongst the Trinity. Identity, who are you? Well, most of all, you are Christ-like as he is. So are you here in this world? And then what do you bring to the table, and what table is waiting for you to show up is purpose and destiny. And so it's so cool that the kingdom is about bringing heavenly solutions to earthly problems so that humanity can experience the goodness of God, taste and see that he is good. And so anywhere that there's chaos, just bringing it into order so that peace and joy are present, and understanding that you're one with the one who knows all the things and he likes to talk to you. And so whatever earthly problem presents itself, there's a heavenly solution waiting to make an entrance, and it's waiting to make an entrance through you. You are the gates of heaven.
With one of my favorite peoples, the famous, infamous Alexanders. You guys, Dub, Beth, and Cinda, or Lil C, as Dub affectionately refers to her. We connected probably as a family. I don't know actually that we've all been together as a family, but I got to connect with you all, and Karen was with me last year in Vegas. But Dub has become a close friend, and through him, you guys as well. But we're here all together, hanging out, going to talk about the kingdom and establishing kingdom culture in family, which is near and dear to your heart. But before we do that, before we do any of that, this is kind of fun. This is the first time we've had, well, Cinda, I don't know how old you are right now. Tell me how old you are.
I'm 13.
13. So you're the first time we've had a 13-year-old on, and the first time we've had a whole family on. So we're breaking barriers. And we got Brooke with us. We're going to dive into the kingdom, into family. But guys, share a little bit about who you are and where you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, so I'm Dub Alexander, and I've had the honor of being on several of these, so most of the Taco fam knows me. And I love to laugh. I love good theology, and I love making the world a better place. And I'm pumped to have my girls with me. And so this is my beautiful wife, Beth. Say what's up.
Hello, I'm Beth. I work in education. Actually starting a new job this year. Very excited to go into junior high to teach middle school. I'm going to be teaching 7th grade science. Very excited about that. And then my hobby, kind of my passion, is choreography and working with kids in that aspect, teaching dance and choreographing musical productions. And so, yeah, I'm all about the kids. It's what I do. Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of kids, nice segue. This is Lil C.
Yeah.
Tell them what's up.
So my name is Cinda. Yeah. Well, I just do theater, all things performing arts. I love singing, dancing, all of it, playing instruments. I love music. Yeah, that's me.
Going into high school.
Going into high school. First time in public school in 4 years. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is going to be good.
Yeah,
13.
I'm excited.
You've entered the realm of the teenagers.
Yeah.
And tell me about Something Rotten. That was because I know you choreographed that, Beth.
Yes.
And I was watching that. Something Rotten. You guys got frozen. Talk a little bit about the productions, because you know when Dub and I get together. And by the way, we've traveled the world together at this point. Had some amazing food. We may hit at that at the end, but and we've done that with you guys as well. But when we get together, we talk about our girls and our family, and Ethan gets a sneak. He gets in there as well. But he's told me a little bit about it. But I watch you on Facebook, and talk about Something Rotten.
Yeah, so Something Rotten was the summer production we just did. It was for high school students, and I've choreographed 14 productions now for this theater company, and this one's in my top 3. It was just so fun, and I love tap. Like tap is it's when it comes to dance, like just let me tap dance. And so this one was there was 3 huge tap numbers in this production. So it was just so fun to work with the kids and, push them and pull out the greatness that they have in them and help them see things like, oh, I can actually do this and I'm really good at it. So, so yeah, it was fun and just a hilarious show. It's so funny.
I love it.
So that's kind of, coming from the production side of it, but what was your take from a performer side of it?
Yeah, I loved the show so much. I was in almost every scene. I barely got a break, and I love that. If I did get a break, I was changing my costume. And yeah.
Wardrobe changes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I was in I think I was in every dance.
You were in every dance.
I was in every single dance, and there was a whole lot of them. And it was so fun. That's my favorite part of like being in like a theater like arts atmosphere is the dancing. I could dance all day long. It's my favorite part. That's why I do shows mainly.
That's awesome.
And yeah, just being able to spend the entire summer with my friends doing what I love. It was so much fun. Yeah. And it was my 17th show. So that's
Can I ask, was it sarcastic? Was the humor sarcastic?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. It was like all sarcasm. It was really good.
That's one of my favorite things about the Alexanders.
I know what he's talking about.
That's awesome.
And for the record, just so everyone knows, Cinda got her dancing chops from me. Because Beth still has hers.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay. I do wonder, Cinda, you said this was your 17th show?
Yeah.
When did you start? Just out of curiosity.
I started when I was 5.
Okay. That's
and
awesome.
The first show I was in was a show called Seussical the Musical. It's about like Dr. Seuss and Cat in the Hat.
So fun.
Yeah, I was a fish, and that's it. No, I was a monkey. I was a monkey and a fish.
Yeah.
That's great. I love that. So you've been doing this for like 9 years then?
Yes.
Yeah.
So awesome.
It's fun. We get to connect. There's a lot of arts in my family as well. And we've talked about that a little bit. And Eli is in a play, right?
He just finished up his first time ever auditioning for anything, first time in theater, got a lead role. He was Michael in Peter Pan and the Hook. They loved him so much that they casted him as Michael, but they loved him so much as Michael that they made Michael older so they could have him. And then they told him he had a permanent spot in their company. I was like, okay, Eli.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good.
This is the stuff right here. The narrative that we're passionate about, storytelling now, what we believe transforms, laughing together. Like, all right, we're having a generational conversation, right? This is where we're going. Who do I want to tag to introduce kingdom in the context of family?
Me. Yeah, so just that concept of establishing a kingdom culture in family and what that looks like. And so I came from a very dysfunctional family. We don't have time to get into all of that business, but luckily I was taken in at 16 by an amazing family named the Urquharts, and they really modeled what it looked like, what loving family looked like. And so it really gave me the opportunity to begin to think about, okay, this is what I experienced growing up, and then this is like so different, and I want to take that and make it a part of who I am and continue on in those things with the establishment of my family. And then when I kind of caught the kingdom revelation, I was like, oh, this is why that type of family is so attractive and why that culture is so beautiful, because family is really based on the Trinity. And what is the Trinity like? Other focused, self-giving love. And the Urquharts really modeled that for me. And I hadn't experienced that before, and it really made a mark and an impression on me. And then when I began to catch, within kingdom culture, there's 2 emotional states that should be the predominant emotional states, and that's peace and joy. And so as we began to catch that revelation really right before you came along, we just began to be intentional about that. Like, not only that other focused, self-giving love, but also is the majority of our time as a couple, and then as Little C came along as a family, is the majority of our time peaceful and joyful? Is the atmosphere of our house peaceful and joyful? And just being intentional about that. And really, Beth, you really carry that peaceful aspect, and really brought that to the table. And then you guys know I'm always cutting up, and Little T really carries a blend of that. But
Mhm.
what was that process like for you, babe?
Yeah, I would say, I had a good childhood. It wasn't perfect by any means. There was things, we had to work through and stuff like that. Nothing like his childhood.
Right.
I came from a big family in the sense that I had like 15 cousins and we were all around the same age, so we always did everything together. But I would say for me, when it came to family and what I wanted to be as a mom, I wanted to be the mom that I needed and wanted as a kid, but
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately didn't have. And so, I kind of stepped back and just evaluated, okay, as a mom, what are my goals? Like, what do I want to do? What do I want to be? What and how do I want to raise my child,
Yeah.
And so, thinking on that, the support, the peace, the love, the just acceptance and understanding, and yeah, just implementing those into the family and partnering with Dub and being her support. It was kind of my biggest goal,
Yeah.
making her the greatest version of herself, and what that looked like for me is just coming alongside. And honestly, like, we became just best friends,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we do everything together, literally. And so that's kind of where my idea of family came from,
Yeah.
is what did I need and want as a kid, and then pouring that into the family
Come
and
on.
into her. So yeah.
Come on. All right.
Mhm.
I got a few places I could go, but Brooke, you have any thoughts before I?
I just want to touch a touch point on what you said. I became her best friend. I absolutely love that. But I think you and I both know very well how society will be like, you're not supposed to be your kid's friend.
Right.
Do you want to speak to that in any way for a minute?
Come on.
I mean, and we have had conversations where there's a time that I'm like, hey, I'm not your friend right now. I'm talking to
Hmm.
you as your mom,
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so, but we have that open communication to where, hey, I'm not your friend in this moment. I'm your mom in this
Mhm.
moment,
Hmm.
And then there's times that I'm like, hey, let's just talk as best friends. Let's figure this out,
Yeah.
And so I think I understand where society set why they say that, but I think
Hmm.
if you have open communication, you can find that balance of, hey, this is a time where I'm mom and this is a time where we're friends, And so I think just as our communication and as we've
Yeah.
talked, we've found that balance. So
What's
Yeah.
everything else for you?
For me,
Yeah.
I love it so much. And I'm really glad she's my best friend, because otherwise that would be really bad. Because she's my dance teacher for a really long time. She was my teacher. She's my Uber driver.
Nice.
She's my mom. Like, she's like
Those are the
almost
same thing,
every
by the way. Uber
Right.
driver and mom are the same thing.
yeah,
driver.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And, yeah. And so I'm just really happy that I have someone that, like, I feel very comfortable with, because a lot of, like, kids don't feel like
Hmm.
very comfortable with their parents, and that they can be like open and honest and have good communication. So I love it personally. I can tell her everything, and that's great.
That's awesome.
That's great. Thanks for taking a second on that, because I do know that it's hard for people and to differentiate, especially if all they've been displayed is like an authoritarian type of
Mhm.
atmosphere. So thanks just for speaking to that for a second.
yeah.
Karen and I
Well,
position. Go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry, I was gonna say, and I think that's part of, like, ties into what I was saying. Like, I needed my mom to be my friend, and
Hmm.
she was never allowed herself to open up to that, and that's
Right.
something I
Hmm.
needed. And
Yeah.
so, that's kind of where that came from,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
finding that balance of friendship
It's
and
good.
being mom. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's really good.
When I was probably 13 or 14, I was hanging out with a bunch of men, and my dad and I came in. We came together. I was coming with my dad. It was a work day for the church, and he introduced me. And these were strangers that we didn't know them at the time. He said, "Hey, he didn't introduce me as this is my son, Jason. He said, "Hey, this is Jason. He's my best friend. This is my
I
best
love
friend,
it.
Jason." And I remember it's still, I get chills thinking about it because it was so significant in how the Father thinks and what family looks like.
Yeah.
For me and for my wife, and I wouldn't have had language for it when we were in our formative days, but you can look in hindsight. We raised our kids in the context of friendship. Yes, we were the authority. Yes, we were more mature. And yes, there were those conversations where I'm speaking to you in the authority of your dad, but never stepping outside of the foundation of friendship,
Yeah.
So
which
good.
is union. It is why we're talking about family,
Mm-hmm.
because Jesus didn't come to show us the God in heaven who's far away. He came to reveal the Father, and he lived in the context of friendship. Am I getting it right, Cinda?
Yes.
What am I doing so far?
Yeah.
So this is the stuff that burns in me. Like, he never called us servant; he always called us friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that this union message, this kingdom message that I think you can speak to, guys, is that we're awakening to our friendship. We're maturing in love, in this other-centered, self-giving love. I'll tell this story, and then maybe you guys got a story. I've told it before, maybe not on this podcast, but many times, where my son, he loved juice. He loved juice too much. And it was back when we didn't have a lot of money. And so Karen would come home with juice, and before I could turn around, before I could even get a sip, the juice was gone. I don't even know how it happened. You'd open the fridge, you'd put the juice in the fridge, you'd turn around, and it was a magic trick. It was like, and Ethan drank all the juice. And so, I told him, I said, son, you can't have all the juice, but it wasn't working. So finally I went and grabbed a cup. I said, you can have 1 cup of juice. I came downstairs one day and it was a 32 ounce. So I said, you can have 1 cup of juice. He does a 32 ounce. So I go grab a cup. I'm like, this is the cup of juice you can have. And I come down one day and he's pouring the juice and slurping the overflow. You know what I'm saying? So that he can have
Creative.
more juice. Am I saying that right? Slurping. He's slurping the overflow as he's pouring the juice in. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I finally say to him, son, 1 cup of juice, you can only fill it to here. And I tell that story because I wanted to interact with my son, not based on, like, he was too immature. It wasn't that I wanted to control his juice. I wanted my son to understand how love works in the context of family and that everybody should have juice. But he was too immature at that time to think in any other way. So there were rules put in place, but the goal wasn't that I could control him. The goal was ultimately that he would get my heart for a juice culture of generosity in our house.
So good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then that's the maturing, but it never left friendship. It was never anything other than friendship. And so anyway, I'm rambling on about my juice story, but I'm sure you can speak to that, Dub or Beth.
Yeah, I love that. What did you say? Juice culture of generosity?
Generosity.
That'd be a great tattoo, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
A t-shirt, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Beth,
slow down
Beth
on
brings
the
it back to the t-shirt
I like
Face
that.
tat.
I like it.
Forehead, right here.
right there.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, shout out to Ethan for his ingenious mind of
Yes. Yes.
he's gonna find a way. Love that guy. And
Solutions.
yeah, we were just listening to his music earlier too. That's freaking
He just
fantastic.
he had a song drop today. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's good.
so good. But yeah, man, I love that. And I think also, I know that I've experienced what it's like to experience the guidance of the Trinity and then later realize what was going on in that moment, and not, it's so important to catch that I may be experiencing something different than the intent with which it's delivered, but that as that maturation process goes on, like, oh, now I'm able to understand that and catch that. And I think that that's another huge part of having a family, kingdom culture within family, is that that growth as the perspective changes, and man, just having that constant communication is has been a big deal for us.
And I will say he is 24 now, and there's always juice, right? There's a maturing process, but we never left friendship. Speak to this though, guys, because the great shift when we're awakening to union, and I saw this modeled in my parents. They modeled love, even though I was raised in a separation paradigm, often coming from the pulpit, right, where the father looked away and so he's good, but can you really count on him? You know, that kind of wrestling match that you're having. But what really shifted for me was I'd seen family demonstrated. I knew that family was the story. In fact, that's the name of our ministry, A Family Story. But it was when Bill Johnson began to harp on not just the goodness of God, but that Jesus, and not that Jesus was perfect theology, but that Jesus came to reveal the Father, and that he always called him Dad, and that would be the starting point of our understanding of who we are as a representation of his kingdom and the context of kingdom family. So I know, Dub, with your journey, you've had to discover the Father in other men, and just in your relationship with Jesus. But maybe speak to that, all of you, and then I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on that, Cinda, as far as knowing a good Father in Jesus.
Yeah. So, I mean, this little one right here has been like so instrumental in my theological journey, because
You're welcome.
That was quick. I love it.
Because I had caught some of the revelation of the kingdom starting maybe a year or two before she came along, but I hadn't caught the nature of the king yet. And so I'll never forget the day I was walking around the side of the Urquhart's house, actually, and I was carrying little C. She was a couple of months old. And I looked down, and it was the first time that she looked at me in my eyes intentionally and smiled. And I like to say that my apps started shaking, because I caught in that moment, sometimes you catch a deep revelation in just a second. And I caught in that moment the theology that I have about my Heavenly Father and how he feels about me is less than what I know to be true about how I feel about little C. And so either I'm a better father than he is, or my theology surrounding who he is and what he is like is way off.
So good.
And then Father asked me, he said, Dub, would you allow me to reintroduce myself to you? And I said, yes. And he said, you think Jesus came to save you from me? And I was like, I do think that, because that's all I'd been taught in Bible college.
Right,
You know?
right.
And that was just the invitation into that journey of leaving that angry dad theology, the forsaking father, all of that BS behind, and discovering the theology to support what I now knew to be true, that if I'm made in his image and I feel this way about her, then he must feel at least that way about me. And so that has to adjust everything. And so
So good.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's really good. I guess for me, when it comes to understanding the Father's love, it was easy for me to grasp onto, because in my life, I have two incredible fathers. I have my biological father, and then my stepdad, who came along when I was 3. And he's the most amazing human. Like, I really believe like he came into my life at just the right time, like right when I needed him, and has stuck around through everything that he did not need to stick around through. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
just has shown me unconditional love since we met when I was 3 years old. And then I didn't become a Christian until I was 19. And so I didn't grow up in church. I didn't, I'd heard of this guy named Jesus. I went to like church lock-ins, with my friends. Like that was my experience. But truly understanding the love of the Father for me came easy, because I had 2 really good examples of a father's love, And so, in that sense, that was easy for me to say, okay, like he loves you unconditionally, because I had that example growing up. And so I guess that's,
Oh, that's really good.
I didn't have a deep revelation of that, because it just made sense to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's really how Beth operates. It's super frustrating to me because
We've talked about this. I was going to bring it up. Same with Karen, so carry on.
throughout my theological journey, I would like begin to catch a revelation of, oh man, my theology needs a massive upgrade in this area. And so I would dig into it and wrestle through it for months and be afraid I was a heretic and am I going to go to hell if I believe this or whatever. Come to the conclusion, no, this is the truth. Come upstairs, share it with Beth. And she's like, yeah, it sounds good. That sounds like the God I know. I'm like, that's it? Like, you're not going to wrestle with it for months?
I'm
Like,
glad you figured it out.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is Karen. That is literally, we've talked about this where it's like I wrestle all this stuff. And then Karen's like, yeah, I've been thinking that for years.
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Yeah.
That's
I
so
think,
good. Because go ahead, Cinda.
No, you're good. I think for me, like growing up, automatically having good dad theology has been so helpful for me in like being able to connect with God. Because my parents are like my best friends and growing up with like such an amazing and kind and loving dad, it's easy for me to also treat God as a father and a friend.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people see like the Trinity in that way as like they're like your friend. They do want what's best for you. And like you can just go and talk to them, if that makes sense.
Come on. Yeah.
And so I also, for me, it's like I tell my friends everything. And then just seeing God as a friend is really helpful for that too. Because if I'm feeling any feelings that I don't love or like going through stuff that is frustrating for me, I can just go like rant to him and then like just ask him like, Lord, please just like take this off of my shoulders, get this off of my heart, because stress and worry and like bad emotions aren't for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I can just talk to them all the time and just see them as a friend, but I can also go to them in like a dad moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a favorite time where you were wrestling with something or unsure and you felt a profound sense of God's love or a sense of connection?
Let me think.
I,
Do you think like the Caesar story would be good with like the bed?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's also kind of like an angel story, but
uh-huh.
I feel like it like ties in. It's when I was, how old was I? Like 4?
4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
I was pretty little, but I remember it because I think it's like kind of when I gained consciousness and realized I was like a real human.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So I was like, and
Some
like I
don't
had,
till they're adults, so
Yeah, this is true too.
and like I had been hearing my dad talk about all this like God stuff, and I think I finally like realized that, oh, this guy's real, and like because I had known he was real and stuff, but it's the first time I kind of like I remember like being like, okay, I'm gonna like talk to this guy and like all that stuff. And I was just, and I guess this wasn't like a time I was like really wrestling with emotion, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool story. So I was just like thinking and I was talking about God, and then I see the end of my bed like go down, like someone had sat down, and I saw like some light, I guess, and like a shadow figure.
Yeah. Come on.
And I think, and then I realized, like I talked to my dad about it and we realized it was my guardian angel. That's how I remember it happening. And I think that was God, like even when I was really young, just saying like, hey, I'm always here to protect you.
Come on.
If that makes sense.
so good.
Yeah.
Well, and it was at a time too when you were having nightmares.
That I was having really bad nightmares.
Yeah.
So I guess I was kind of like wrestling with emotion.
Yeah.
And you had been talking to God about the fear at night
Yeah,
and needing to feel safe and have peace. And
It's
so
awesome.
that answered a prayer.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that was when you were 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
And did you have nightmares after that?
No, not for a really long time.
Yeah. That's wild. It's we're back to friendship, and I love that that's the model in family that and it was modeled by your parents, and I had the same model.
Yeah.
I knew Jesus as my best friend from the age of 5. And
Is
so
that when
that
you gained consciousness as well?
that's about when
I
yeah.
realized you were a human.
Yeah. No, it was much later. Karen would argue it still hasn't happened, so I'm figuring it out. But I'll tell you this. I realize, even as you're talking, and I don't know that I've had this thought before, but I talk about this relational theology a lot. I'm a relational theologian. I don't know if you've heard me say that, Cinda, but I say it, maybe 3 times an episode and 5 times on Sunday. But relational theology is secure attachment. It is a child growing up in a place that has been modeled. We're all meant to be relational. That's how it starts. I had the same story, but I was 11 or maybe 12 when I was having bad dreams, and I was on the basement. My folks were on the 2nd floor, so 2 stories. And my dad had told me to pray, and so I knew Jesus as my friend, and so I closed my eyes, and when I closed my eyes, it was a bright light in the room. Opened them up, thinking somebody had flipped the light on, and nope. Closed my eyes again, prayed. And I'd been having bad dreams, and a bright light opened them again. Nope, it was dark. Finally, the 3rd time, I'd heard about this Samuel guy. So everything comes in 3s. So the 3rd time, I kept my eyes closed, and I turned my head, and I was on a bunk bed, and there was an angel, probably 10-foot angel, bright. And
awesome, yeah.
And I never had bad dreams after that. I knew he was with me. I did go wake up my parents to tell them about it. They were hoping to not be woken up in the middle of the night anymore. But that friendship that you've developed happens in a place where the Father is established as trustworthy, right? Am I hitting on the right beats here?
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. So there's the revelation of Father, which for me burns deeply. Jesus only and ever called God Dad, lived confident in his affection, sure in his kindness and his love, and then he lived with purpose. He lived purposefully, and the message, the family business, if you will, that we're in, is on earth as it is in heaven. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. I get emotional thinking of it, as it is in heaven. The kingdom is at hand, Jesus said. He also said the kingdom is within you. And he was speaking to those who weren't quite able to fathom it within us, but it's right here. You can touch it, but also it's within you. And we've been called to establish this family on earth as it is in heaven, to live in the same bold confidence that Jesus lived as a beloved child of his Father. And what does that look like to live that way purposefully? Because I know that you guys are going to be teaching on that purposeful intention of living confident in his affection. And what does that look like to do it as a kingdom family? Maybe speak to that a little bit. Hey guys, so we have a conference coming up. It's our 2nd annual family reunion in Charlotte, North Carolina, my backyard. And last year was so sweet. I'm really looking forward to this year, September 25 through 27. Baxter Kruger is going to be with us. So thankful for him. Damon Thompson is going to be with us. That's been a new friendship, and I'm incredibly grateful for him. It's going to be a time, guys. Dub Alexander will be with us again. Love Dub and all that he brings. Brooke Waters, whom you guys know and who helps put this conference on, she'll be with us. And Mark and Julie Appleyard, good friends of mine, dear friends of mine. They've been on the podcast. They're going to be with us, along with Michael and Bethany Wallace, who led worship last year. It was unbelievable, and it's going to be good this year. I'm really looking forward to this. September 25 through 27. You can learn more about it at afamilystory.org, afamilystory.org. We have the early bird tickets right now, so if you sign up now, it'd be the most cost effective. It also lets us know how to prepare for you. Guys, there will be fellowship, there will be worship, there will be deep end conversations and teaching around this Trinitarian faith, this beautiful gospel, this good news that only gets better, and the opportunity to connect again as a community. I'm so grateful for you all, so grateful for the ways in which we get to continue to discover and explore the goodness of God together. And I'm excited about the opportunity to do it face to face, September 25th through 27th. afamilystory.org. Come hang out with us. Oh, by the way, I'll be there too. All right, I'm going to get back to the podcast.
And so purpose is really what gets me jacked up. I love purposeful living. And so kind of the way that we view it is, if you can have the answer to these 4 questions, origin, identity, purpose, and destiny, then you're really going to be able to live a really fulfilling life. And so origin, where did you come from? Came from the heart of the good, kind, loving Heavenly Father, a conversation amongst the Trinity. Identity, who are you? Well, most of all, you are Christ-like as He is. So are you here in this world? And then what do you bring to the table, and what table is waiting for you to show up is purpose and destiny. And so it's so cool that the kingdom is about bringing heavenly solutions to earthly problems so that humanity can experience the goodness of God, taste and see that He is good. And so anywhere that there's chaos, just bringing it into order so that peace and joy are present, and understanding that you're one with the one who knows all the things and He likes to talk to you. And so whatever earthly problem presents itself, there's a heavenly solution waiting to make an entrance, and it's waiting to make an entrance through you. You are the gates of heaven. Psalm 24:7, lift up your heads, O you gates, for the King of glory is looking to make an entrance. And so we have this understanding, and we've raised her this way. I remember dropping her off at school when she was little and just saying, hey, who are you? Well, I'm a queen on the earth. And what do you carry today as you go into your classroom? I carry heaven's solutions. How is the classroom going to be different because you're there? There's going to be peace and joy there, And so just having that mindset of you can live in purpose everywhere all the time. And the kingdom works everywhere all the time, but there's a place, a people group, and a sphere of influence or culture where you'll show up in a whole nother level because of your design. And so we understand that we walk in kingdom purpose everywhere, but as with the Trinity, there's unity with distinction, that we all have some individual assignments within that as well. And so I've worked in government for a long time, and on the global level. And a funny story about that to show the difference here is I had received an invitation to go meet with a president of a nation in Africa, and he had extended the invitation. He was like, hey, feel free to bring your wife, et cetera. And so I came out of my office. I was like, hey, babe, President so-and-so is invited. Do you want to go? And she was like, no, I think I'll just hang out here. And, and it's like that call to government is on me, but it's not on them. Beth gets excited about education, and Lil C has this entrepreneurial business thing going on. And so we have these different assignments, and then we all share an assignment in entertainment, with choreography, dance, stand-up comedy, music. And so there's this place of kingdom assignment and purpose that we all share together as a family. And then there are specific assignments where we get to lend our support to each other in those arenas. And man, that just makes life fun. So what's that look like for y'all?
Me? Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I agree, like what he said about like the entrepreneurial. Yes.
It's in the Greek.
We'll go with it.
Don't worry about it. Entrepreneurial.
Nailed it.
Thank you. Thing is, like, even when I was really little, I always had like little businesses. Like, I would obviously do like lemonade stands and stuff like that. And then I got really, really into baking.
Yeah.
And so then I started baking, and I would do a lot of sales and stuff like that. I would go to church and I'd set up tables and I'd sell cookies. And then it kind of went into like jewelry and stuff. And so I think there's always been like a little part of me that like also really likes money.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, yeah. And then I think just tying it to like what I'm passionate about at the time. And I know that like passion leads to purpose. And if it's something that God has really put on your heart that you love to do, then He loves for you to do it.
Come on.
If that makes sense.
Passion leads to purpose.
And then, so I think like anytime I've done like a little business or anything, it's always been something that I believe that God put on my heart that I love to do. And so even just like partnering with him to do those things. And like even in theater, because I know that's something that he created me to love and to do. And just going into the theater and partnering with him with everything I do and like dancing for him. And like even if there's some like situations at the theater, then I can just bring God into it and just be like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I invite you. Well, even though he's already there, I'm like, I invite you into this space to like create peace and functionality and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Really
good.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say like the unity with distinction, I think is so important. And I think I kind of want to put out there kind of from my timeline of life, my distinction, my purpose came about later in life. I didn't discover that education is what excited me until I was 26 years old. Like, I changed my major 4 times in college because I didn't know what I wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I knew I wanted to dance, but I also knew that like pursuing a professional dance career was not it, because at that time, like were married, like it just wasn't it, and that kind of stuff. And so through a weird thing in life that happened, I ended up being a substitute teacher, and I was like in classrooms all the time, and I loved it. And I was looking at this and I was like, I can do this, and realized like I could do it better. You know what I mean? Like I was like,
Good for you.
all of these ideas started coming to me, and I finally went to Deb and I was like, I think I'm supposed to be in education. I think I'm supposed to be a teacher. And like then just like life like clicked all of a sudden,
So
and it
good.
was great. But so that's kind of, I just want to put that out there because I feel like people feel like they have to have things figured out in their early 20s or like right out of high school. And I'm like,
Right.
it's okay if you don't. Like it's still gonna
good.
happen. And take your time to figure out, because if you try and push something too quick, it may not work, and all that. So I like to throw that out there to give people permission that it's okay to figure stuff out, quote unquote, later in life.
Good.
But back to the unity with distinction, like where I'm a very like, I love to encourage people and I love to support people. And so, like when Dove was traveling for so much, for so long, like, that's where we came in as a family and supported that, and said, hey, you go do this because that's what you're called to do. And not sit back and go, oh, woe is me. I have to take care of the house. I have to do all the grocery shopping. It was like, no, you go do your thing. You go
That's
change.
great.
Yeah. You go change the world, because what I'm doing here is also changing the world, because I'm
100%.
supporting her. I'm, in my purpose. Just because I'm not in Africa or I'm not in Australia or whatever doesn't mean I'm not changing the world. I'm impacting because I'm in my purpose, because I'm doing what God's called me to do. I'm speaking into kids' lives every single day. And if that's not changing the world, I don't know what is,
Right.
And then, same thing, like when I decided, like, hey, education's where I'm supposed to be. He was like, yes, what do we have to do? Like, let's get you back into college. Let's get this degree, and then, just the support that we have for each other, I think is what really has accelerated us to where we are now. And just lifting each other up and not saying, but it's my turn, like it was none of that. It was, you go do what you're supposed to do, and I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And we're going to, champion each other. And I think that's really what got us to where we are now and where we're still going, but now I feel like the road is a little easier because we have figured that out,
Right.
So when, any like hard times come or anything like that, it's like, it's all right. It's okay. We're going to make it through because we have each other, and we're going to do what we have to do to support each other so that each other's goals are accomplished, And so, yeah, I think that's just a thing that we have found in our family that has really accelerated us to where we are and where we're going. So, yeah.
That's so good.
Yep.
Brooke, before you ask the question, I just need to know, is he doing more grocery shopping now that he's home?
No, I still do. But I have to say,
I'm
online
like,
grocery
why you
when
gotta
did he
call me
ever
out
go
the love
grocery
language?
shopping? What's that?
What about bro code?
Bro code. Yeah, where's the bro code?
I'm sorry. I just was like, Dub grocery shops? I'd like to hear more about this. No, I'm teasing.
No.
Totally. 100. No, I love everything you're saying. Brooke, I know you have something. I could, or do you, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll let you.
One of the things that I love about your family that always is highlighted to me is the honor.
Yeah.
The and I cry even on this one. The honor between each other, the honor that you give to others, and the honor for yourself. And I absolutely adore it.
Yep.
And it speaks to everyone around you, just to encourage you in that. Just to even to the point where it's like, hey, I'm going to honor our family and honor where I'm at in my life and honor you where you're at in your life as you go do that. Instead of looking at it like this place of contempt and judgment,
Yeah.
and that's just so beautiful. I just wanted to speak to that for a second. The other thing that, as you broke it all down for your family, Deb, about your own destiny, purpose, the four things that you said, or yeah, four questions, and maybe you might get into this in a minute. And if I'm jumping the gun, I apologize. But I'm curious, do you offer that to help other families and help other people to be able to do that for themselves and their family? Because that's transformative right there.
Yeah,
And yeah.
great question, and thank you for the honor. Appreciate that.
Mhm.
So, one of the things that really began to bother me was that there's not a lot of good curriculum or kingdom content out there for families and especially children that is coming from a Trinitarian faith based
Hmm.
place, from a good father theology. And it's like, when you think about what is the most publicized Bible story for kids, it's Noah's Ark because it has
Right.
animals in it. And that's like one of the most horrific misportrayals of the Father in all of Scripture.
Right.
In
Uh-huh.
fact, Father didn't even wait for Jesus to correct the record on that one. He has Isaiah do it in Isaiah 54. This is like the waters of Noah to me. Let me show up and correct the record here, is what he's saying through Isaiah. Let me give you my perspective of the waters of Noah. And note, he doesn't take responsibility for the waters. It's like
Yep.
whenever Jesus
So
spoke
good.
about the law, he always called it your law or Moses' law, never his law. He said, let me talk to you about the waters of Noah, because we were all raised to believe that God's super mad about all the dirty sinners and he's going to send his waters to kill everybody.
Yep.
It's a super funny story. There's that ark in Kentucky, right?
Kentucky.
Gosh.
And Cinda was with me. We were doing a daddy-daughter tour where I was speaking some spots. How long ago would that have been?
I was like 7.
Yeah, she was like 7. And so our awesome host wanted to take us over there. So we were walking through it. And we got to like one of the plaques, and it said, and God was very angry because he had created, these.
Yeah, and it was like a picture of like people burning in hell. And I was like,
Oh my gosh.
It was, or drowning in the
drowning.
flood. Yeah.
Whatever.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm just watching her,
Firewater.
and she's reading the plaque, and she looks at the picture, and then she looks up at me and rolls her eyes, and I was like, Dad win. And like, she knows that's some BS right there. But it's like, where are the stories for the kids that are told through the lens of Jesus? After Jesus corrected the record, what is the revelation we can pull from on that? And so we decided to come together and produce a couple of courses for families. And since especially Beth's speciality is 4th through 8th grade, we just tried to really tailor the content for that.
Hmm.
So in that, we've been prototyping this course, Kingdom for Family, in Facebook. And a shout out, we have a lot of Taconians in there that have been participating with us in that. And so what that curriculum has ended up becoming, and we have the first pack, starter pack, the Old Testament starter pack is available now. And in that, it comes with a good father Bible story. And so we tell, I think you went with creation, the fall, Joseph, and Daniel. And especially the fall, that's one that needs to be told through a good father lens for these kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have that Bible story, and then I do a kingdom teaching that is targeted on that origin piece, identity piece, purpose piece, and destiny piece. And it has compelling questions that the kids are able to take to Trinity themselves and begin to get insight into that. And then a declaration where they fill in some
Love
things
it.
so they can begin to speak that over themselves. And then you do a little mini mirror Bible study. Tell me about that piece.
Bible study with Cinda.
Yeah. Yeah. I love making those videos. I need to make some more. I thought about that. But yeah, so I love like just looking in my Bible and saying like, hey God, what do I need to hear right now? If that makes sense. And being like, even if I'm not going through like a struggle, or even if I am and I'm just like, Lord, I just need you to tell me something that I need to hear right now. Cause like sometimes if I'm really stressed or I'm really feeling upset about something, it's hard for me to turn on my hearer and just listen to him. So I have only been reading in John recently because it's just easy for me to read, I guess. And always the first, like, I don't start like at a specific spot. Like I'm not going to start at verse 1. I just start wherever my eyes go, and that's where I'm like, okay, God wants me to start here, and then I read. And usually it's like exactly what I need to hear, and I love that. And just even seeing everything through a good father lens, and the Mirror Bible already does that, so that's not super hard for me to like have to like think about that while reading it. When some other Bibles, like I have to think about that.
NIV.
Yeah. And so when my dad came to me and he was like, hey, I need you to make videos about origin, identity, purpose, and destiny, I was like, okay, well, I don't want to like look through the entire Bible because that'll be really hard. But I think also like me opening my Bible up to John was very like helpful because everything I needed I found in that, if that makes sense.
That's awesome.
And so, yeah.
Super good. And
Yeah.
then the last
great.
component of that curriculum is prophetic activation. So maybe share about that and then like the different ways it could be used.
Yeah. So, the fourth component is the prophetic activation. And we just kind of walk through, the 4 main ways that the Trinity communicates with us: hear, see, feel, and know. And each week we just work on one specific, so it's not like we're trying to activate all 4 at the same time. And so we just do different exercises. We talk about, what a healthy prophetic culture looks like and what the prophetic is.
So good.
And then some people are, just don't understand the prophetic. And
Or they've had bad experiences where it's been represented in charismania, right?
In a very negative, condemning way. But we talk about, what the prophetic is and what a healthy prophetic culture looks like in a family.
That's great.
And then we just do some activations that help to see, maybe which communication you're more naturally bent towards. We all have access to all of them. It's just that sometimes one is easier than the other. It's just like in school, we all have access to all the subjects, but sometimes one subject is easier for us, And so we, go through all 4 of those and focus on those and do fun, like a fun activation or like exercise to help, ignite that, that communication that the Trinity has with us. And so it's really, really cool. And, we've been doing this live every Sunday on Zoom, and having the families like speak over each other has been so fun to see. And then like, even some of the families have spoken over us, so we've been blessed through it too. It's just so fun because especially if you start with the kids, they don't have these blocks or filters and things that they're trying to go through. They just, say, oh, this is what I heard. And like, it's just, there it is. And it's 99% of the time it's dead on and accurate, And so then they feel accomplished. Also, they're like, I just got to win, and so it makes them even more excited about, oh, I want to try that again. And how can I, develop this gift even further? And so it's just really fun. I love the prophetic activation. I think it's my favorite part.
Yeah.
But also because I love to speak into people's lives and I'm an encourager, and I feel like that's what the prophetic is,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
so I just
It's
love
good.
it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the whole curriculum, it's right now the Old Testament starter pack is available, and it's a four series curriculum, I guess, or 4 week
for 4
curriculum,
weeks. Yeah.
however you want to do that. But you can use it in your family, one-on-one with your kids. It could be done in a children's church setting. You can use it in a homeschool, setting. Like there's so many different ways you can use it. Even with the Bible story, we have like an activity that they can do with it. It's not just like sitting and listening, there's action that you take as well, so that it sticks and it gets implemented. And I feel like it just opens up, especially the teaching. I feel like it opens up that conversation between the parent and the kid, to go, okay, let's now talk about, your identity. What do you think about your identity? Huh?
Yeah.
Taco Bell.
Taco about your identity,
Come on.
and it just opens up the conversations with families. And in a way, that we naturally did, and so for us to like help families open up that communication in these specific areas, I think it's been really fun and really exciting to build this together as a family. So, yeah.
I love I feel like the through line of this conversation is friendship. I mean, first here, but then it happens here. But I love that thought that, it is at that younger age, there's no filters, there's nothing in the way, and it really is that. And that's the thing as a parent, Karen and I were most focused on if my kids can, I want to introduce the names of God, sure, but I'm mostly interested in them having encounters with the interpretation.
Yes.
Like that will sustain them because that is authentic. That's the friendship of God played out in all of the different ways that all the different aspects of his character and nature. And so how can we develop and create spaces, which is what you guys are doing as a family, for us to know the deep end friendship of the heart of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit with us. So that's the stuff, guys. Like this is the stuff. This is the legacy stuff, the generational stuff. Maybe I this is just off this cuff a little bit, but Dub, you and I have had this conversation, even that generational conversation where regardless of where you are in your journey, if you came from a family where maybe you couldn't see this displayed, you still have access to this generational because we're part of the long game, the part of the long arc as of love, as Baxter calls it. I don't know if you've had thoughts about that, but I feel like you're speaking to families about a generational understanding that is passed down, yes, to your kids, but also healing those places within us where maybe we didn't have access or didn't know. Maybe there's a restoration process taking place. I think we're in the middle of that. I don't know if you can speak if that's just what's burning in me as we're talking. But
No, I totally agree. You can't lose in the kingdom. And so if you didn't have a good dad, then redemption comes into play, and you get to experience God as a good dad, and you get to be a good dad. If you had a good dad, then inheritance is in play and you get to be a good dad. So regardless of whatever you experienced in the natural, the kingdom comes to bring that restoration piece. And then you get to set the legacy or the lineage moving forward in that new place. So I do just want to encourage anybody who's listening. Maybe you had great parents, maybe you didn't, maybe you had a great family culture, maybe you didn't, but you get to have one now, and you get to be one now, and you get to change the trajectory of the generations that come from you. And it's a beautiful thing, and it's super enjoyable as well.
come on, that's the stuff. That's the good stuff. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
We're going to show a video. I know you sent me something of this course, so we'll play that at some point in here. But Cinda, what are some of my names?
Okay. So you already know I have quite a long list of the old ones, but I have 3 new ones today.
Oh, here we go.
Cannot
Yeah.
wait.
Come on.
Fresh
So
off the press.
it's special. Okay, starting off with El Jefe de Tacos.
Nice.
That's nice. It has like an international flavor
Yeah,
to it.
it's a little spicy.
Yeah, I like that. I'll have it.
a little spicy for your taco.
Yeah. I like it. It's got gravitas.
Thank you. And then the Taco-tastic theologian. I
Nice.
think that one's got a nice ring to it.
Nice.
Alliteration.
And
New
alliteration.
type of theologian in there.
Alliteration.
I like it.
And then Captain Crunchy Shell. I quite like that one as well.
Yes, that one's cute.
That
I like
one's
that
fun.
too. For the last year and a half, guys, Dub has been passing along Cinda's taco titles.
I have a notes app, and I think I have 13 now. So
It's true. And it kind of started as you and I became friends. We'd be chatting on the phone, and I'd come up from my office. You'd be like, at first it was just, you've been chatting with Mr. Taco. And then from there, all the titles started coming. And it was, I was impressed. It's hilarious.
It's
I
funny.
love it. I can't wait till all of our families actually face to face. My kids have met Dub, haven't met the rest of you, but they absolutely love Dub. In fact, the other day, they were teasing me that I don't have a lot of deep friendships, just because that's what your kids do. They tease you. That's their love language, sarcasm. I do have some friendships, but any small thing they can find, they're just going to go at it. And I was like, but what about this person? They're like, whatever. And I went, this person, nah, I don't like him. What about? They were just being mean, right? And then I said, what about Dub? And they're like, all right, Dub's pretty cool. So it's a lot of fun. But let's talk tacos while we're here. One of the meals I had, Karen and I had with you guys was, and we'd never had this before, was bone marrow.
So good.
I forget what the name of the restaurant was in Las
Beauty
Vegas.
in
In
Essex.
Essex.
Beauty in Essex. That was a legit time. That was all right. And bone marrow. And so I was thinking about that. We did have little tacos in that meal as well.
It's true.
The Golgi
It was like
tacos.
a specialty taco, but it was unbelievable. I can't remember. It was like some sort of, was it salmon or?
No, it
It was
they were
the bulgogi,
bulgogi.
but it did have like some salmon roll on top, I
Yeah.
think, as a garnish. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a delicious taco. They were miniature, but
Bite size, pretty good.
yeah, super good.
But let's talk tacos because we've had them together. And Dub and I have actually, and I've told this story many times, we did a 4 or 5 day trip together. And the last place reached out to us and said, hey, we want to take you out to dinner tonight. Before anyone could do anything, Dub texted back, please no tacos. Because
We had had tacos that entire time before that. Great tacos, but after a while,
Yeah.
right.
time for a taco break.
So we've had
Oh my
tacos together.
No more
But
cheesecake.
No,
Do you have a taco story, Cinda? What's your favorite taco?
I love just like the fajitas kind of count as tacos, like soft tacos a little bit.
Sure.
Those are my favorite.
Yeah.
Those
Come
are my
on.
favorite taco. I
Steak?
also like just like plain like ground beef and cheese tacos.
Yeah.
It's great.
But who makes your favorite?
Oh, my favorite tacos is original Cinda, or like, well, I tease her and I call her old Cinda. But
So
She's named after.
the
Yes.
couple that took me into Urquhart's, her name is Cinda Urquhart. And so when Beth and I told her, hey, we're going to, we're expecting, we're going to name her after you. She
Aw.
was super happy. She was like, oh, that's awesome. And she stops and she goes, but never call me Big Cinda. So we were like, okay, we'll call you Original Cinda.
Original
Yeah,
Cinda.
so we call her OC. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's nice. That's awesome.
yeah, she makes the best tacos. I don't know how she does it. They're magical. And then she gave my mom the recipe, and they're not the same.
I can't do it. This
It's all
I,
the love.
I tried.
It's just the love in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm not going to tell those stories. I don't. My mom makes a particular meal, and when Karen makes it, it's amazing.
But it's not mom's. Yeah.
I agree. You do make good tacos.
But they're not OCs.
They're not
I get it.
OCs.
I understand.
It
I think
happens.
you've heard all my taco stories by now.
Yeah.
I think my favorite taco. Well, growing up, we used to make homemade tacos, like homemade shells and everything. So I like that's the story. But recently, I went on a girls' trip to Cancun, like to an all-inclusive resort. And the one excursion that we did is a taco tour around
Nice.
Cancun. And it was so good. Like we
Come
literally
on.
just
So
walked,
fun.
like we had a guide and like we would just go to these different restaurants and they had, tacos ready for us. And
Come on.
it was,
So like a crawl,
yeah,
like a
exactly.
taco
Like a
place.
taco crawl.
So
Yeah.
fun.
It was great.
I
It
swear
was,
that's going to be heaven. That's what heaven's going to be like.
yes. And so
Yeah.
I think we hit 6 or 7 different spots, and had just different tacos at every place. The tacos were different and it was great. It was
It's
so
so
good. So
fun.
that's one of my favorite taco experiences because we ate tacos for like 4 hours and it was fantastic. But you walk in between. So by the time you
Yeah,
get to the next one, you're like, I'm ready. I'm
you're
hungry.
ready.
Let's do the next one. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's fun.
Dang.
yeah.
That's
I'm gonna need that
amazing.
information later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Karen and I were just in Cancun and we did that on our own and it was amazing, but that's even better.
Yeah.
We did a tequila tour like that too. That was fun. But
Well,
oh,
I wasn't going to say that, but it was tacos and tequila. It was a
yeah,
tacos and
Yeah.
tequila tour. So, yeah. It was great.
I just want to throw it out there.
Yeah.
But, yeah. It's a lot of fun. That's awesome. Guys, Kingdom Theology Volume 1. That is an amazing book that Dub and Friends has written. Bible study with Cinda. There it is. Yeah, he's got it. There's an amazing forward in that too.
It's the best.
It's an old joke, but it lands every time. Bible study with Cinda. You're also doing detox. You're doing a class called religious or detox religion. Is that the?
Yeah. So this fall, what we're doing for School of Kingdom's fall offering is we're doing the Fall of Religion, religious detox, and that's available at schoolofkingdom.com. And that'll be we'll go from August to December, just walking through detoxing from religion, detoxing from fear, and detoxing from charismania.
Love it.
And so just addressing a lot of different super important questions that people have as they're trying to shift into this kingdom mindset and this good father only relationship, that God is good and only good. He's only ever been good and only ever been good in exactly the way Jesus revealed. So it really gives the students an opportunity to, in these 16 sessions, to just detox from all of the bad belief systems that we had inherited, unknowingly from good-hearted people, but just a detox from all of that, and so that we can just discover all the goodness of the kingdom. And that same website, School of Kingdom, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, then you'll find the Kingdom for Family curriculum that we've been producing. And so, yeah, it's a lot of good stuff this fall.
Come on.
So let me ask this. You've got a lot of resources and I think that's great. Someone who is just stepping into some of this, what would you recommend as the place to start?
I think this detox from religion, because it really is the kind of ground zero of, if you come from Western Protestant evangelicalism, whether charismatic or not, there's going to be a set of belief systems that you've been handed that are highly detrimental to you. And I've done this for long enough that I just have become very aware of, okay, everybody is going to have these sets of questions. And so this specific course where we're walking through it live, it addresses all of those. And there's even an order to those questions. Like there's a couple of different threads on the sweater that you can begin as a starting point, but after that, it's going to find pretty much the same path. Okay, if that's true, well, then what does that say about this? And so it's really this is the 7th year of School of Kingdom. So it's pretty well honed in by now on kind of a great progression that's proven to really walk people into freedom.
Now, is SOK or School of Kingdom, is that the same stuff that you're offering as this detox stuff? Or is it a little bit separate? Are you saying like School of Kingdom's starting this fall, or are they doing something a little bit different this fall to segue into School of Kingdom?
Yes. So the detox from religion is essentially the first semester of School of Kingdom, but it's really framed correctly for like the tacos type community, people that are walking
Okay.
through deconstruction. Because when I began, I came from the charismatic stream, and so it was framed more for the charismatic stream. As John Crowder would say, I was a popular circuit speaker before I believed the gospel. And as I've become more and more staunch in my beliefs around the nature of the king and what that looks like, really, people that are walking through a deconstruction process are really the
Mm-hmm.
people that I'm called to, because I'm not having to try to help people upgrade their beliefs about God when they're happy with it. I'm
Yeah.
really for the people that are already, their apps are shaking, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know God's better than I've been taught, but I don't know
Yeah.
how to connect my thoughts with what my heart is feeling.
Come on.
That's
And
good.
so, detox from religion this fall is essentially the new and improved School of Kingdom Year One, Semester
I'm
One.
excited for you for that. I've already been referring it to people. I had someone reach out to me yesterday and say, ask about curriculum or some sort
Yeah.
of resources for people who have asked to disciple them.
Hmm.
And she told me, she's like, I've been listening to Dub's series on YouTube right now called Read the Scripture Like Jesus. And she's like, this is fire. I go, let's start there for her.
Yeah.
You know, so it's great.
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
think you're making a huge impact.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Amen. Thankful for you guys. I mean, you're involved also in the Facebook group
Hmm.
and walking through how to approach Scripture.
Hmm.
I think it's been 6 or 7 right now, right?
Yeah, we just did session 6, and so we've got at least one more of those, and then that takes place on Wednesday nights live, and then pretty excited. Bob Switzer, who is the author and creator of the Epic Narrative podcast,
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
become a good friend of mine, and so following up on that one, he and I are going to be showing up in there on Wednesday nights, and just talking about redeeming the idea of the fivefold.
It's
Because
good.
99% of the time that's presented in a hierarchical control man of God model, which is never what it was meant to be. But there's such beautiful keys in the model of the fivefold because it's based upon the ways of God and how
Hmm.
you create and steward something into the fullness of what it's meant to be. And so Bob and I are going to be tag teaming that teaching on Wednesday nights in the taco group. And so, yeah, looking
I
forward
hadn't
to
heard
that.
that yet. That's awesome. Bob's amazing.
He
That's
is.
gonna be
Hmm.
so much fun.
More
And
fire.
all, what's that?
More fire.
And also September 25th, 26th, 27th
Hmm.
in Charlotte, the Rethinking God with Tacos family reunion. You're going to be there. We're going to have a time. Baxter and Damon Thompson, and a bunch of us. We're starting to
Hmm.
gear for that. So
Yeah.
God is good and only good. He has always and only ever been good, and
Hmm.
always only ever been good in exactly the way Jesus revealed. If you didn't say it, I was going to make sure we closed with it.
Nice. Hey, that's my hill to live on, man.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah, that's right. And I
convinced.
like that you already died there, so let's start living there.
There.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Love you guys.
Love you
Yeah,
guys.
thank you.
Can't say it
Thank you.
enough. Excited for all that God's doing, and honored to call you all friends.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
It was
All right.
fun.
Well,
Great.
we'll do this again.
Sounds good.
Look forward to it.